How to speak so people respect you. Do you ever feel like no one's really listening when you speak? That your words are falling on deaf ears, no matter how much you pour into them? Or maybe you've been in a room full of people and noticed how some people's voices command attention and respect, while others fade into the background. What makes the difference? What separates the leaders from the followers, the respected from the disregarded? It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Section 1, the power of voice, your instrument for respect. Your voice is more than just the words you speak. It's your instrument, the tool you use to connect, to influence, and to command respect. Think about it. When you speak with intention, people notice. When you speak with confidence, people listen. It's not just about what you say, it's how you say it. Your voice carries power, and when used correctly, it can amplify your presence in any room. Now let me ask you this. When was the last time you really paid attention to the way you speak? Think about someone who has the ability to grab your attention the moment they speak. Maybe it's a public figure, or maybe it's someone in your life. The chances are they don't just speak with their words, they speak with their voice, their tone, their cadence, the way they control the rhythm of their speech. It's magnetic. You can feel it, right? One of the most powerful examples of this is Martin Luther King Jr. His "I Have a Dream" speech didn't just change the course of history because of the words. It was his delivery, the conviction, the cadence, the control of his voice that made those words unforgettable. It was as if each word was carefully crafted to echo in the hearts of millions. His voice didn't just fill the air, it resonated deeply. That's what I want you to understand. The way you speak matters. Your voice is an instrument, and when you learn to master it, you don't just talk, you command attention. So let's break it down. Start by standing tall. It might sound simple, but when you stand tall, you're physically signaling confidence. When you speak from your chest, not your throat, you instantly project authority. Think about it. The next time you're in a meeting or conversation, try this. Sit or stand with your back straight. You'll notice how it changes your energy. Your words will feel more grounded, more confident. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone speaks so fast it's hard to follow? It's like they're racing against time. We've all been there, right? But here's the thing. When you rush your speech, it can make you seem uncertain or even desperate for approval. So slow down. Don't be afraid of silence. Pausing between thoughts gives you a moment to breathe and let your words land with impact. A well-timed pause can be more powerful than any sentence. Don't let your voice sound like a monotonous drone. Your tone should vary depending on what you're saying. A change in pitch can create excitement, urgency, or even calmness. If you're passionate, let it show. If you're serious, let your voice reflect that. Keep your audience engaged. Nothing kills respect faster than a dull, unchanging voice. So, remember, it's not just the words you speak, it's the way you speak them. Your voice is a reflection of your confidence and your presence. When you own it, people will naturally respect you. Section 2, words matter. The art of choosing what to say. Now let's talk about what you say. The words you choose. Sure, your voice matters, but the words themselves are the foundation of your message. You could have the most profound ideas in the world, but if you don't express them clearly and thoughtfully, those ideas risk going unheard. There's an old saying that goes, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But let's be clear. What you say does matter. Your words carry weight. Every single one of them. So why not make them count? Think of someone you respect, a mentor, a leader, or even a friend. What is it about the way they speak that makes you trust them? It's not just their tone, it's how they choose their words. They speak with intention. They don't waste time with empty chatter, and when they speak, you know their words are meaningful. Take Warren Buffett, for example. One of the wealthiest individuals in the world, yet he's known for being incredibly thoughtful with his words. He once said it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. Think about that. Every word you speak is like an investment in your reputation. If you speak thoughtfully, you build trust. But if your words are careless or insincere, you risk damaging your credibility. Let's break down a few principles to help you master the art of choosing your words. Be concise. Have you ever listened to someone who just goes on, never getting to the point? We've all been there. But here's the truth. People respect brevity. The more concise and to the point you are, the more authority your words will carry. It's not about saying less, it's about saying more with fewer words. Your audience will appreciate your clarity. Be authentic. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone is trying so hard to sound like someone else? It doesn't feel natural, does it? The truth is, your authentic voice is your most powerful tool. When you speak from your true self, your words come across with sincerity and strength. Don't try to imitate someone else. Be yourself. People respect that. Choose words carefully. We've all used filler words, like, you know, and while they may seem harmless, they actually reduce the power of what you're saying. When you eliminate these fillers, your words become more impactful, more direct. Practice speaking without them. Pause if you need to. It's okay. The strength of your message doesn't rely on filling the gaps with ums or likes. So when it comes to choosing your words, be thoughtful, be intentional, and most importantly, be real. Your voice is your power. It's the instrument that helps you create connection, build respect, and leave a lasting impact. But it's not enough to just speak. You need to speak with purpose. Stand tall, speak with confidence, choose your words carefully. Remember, people don't just hear you, they feel you. And when you speak with clarity, authenticity, and intention, you'll earn the respect and trust of those around you. Now, it's your turn. The next time you speak, whether in a meeting, a conversation, or even in front of a crowd, take a moment to remember the power of your voice. Use it wisely. Let your words and your delivery reflect the authority and respect you deserve. So, I challenge you, today, take control of your voice. Speak with purpose. Own your words. And watch how the world responds. That should keep the audience engaged while maintaining an inspiring and motivating tone. Speaking with empathy, the bridge to connection, respect, isn't just about holding a position of authority or knowing all the right things to say. It's about connecting with people on a deeper level. Emotionally, think about it. You can speak with all the power and confidence in the world, but if you're not in tune with the feelings, concerns, and values of the people you're speaking to, your words will fall flat. People don't just want to hear your voice. They want to feel understood. And that's where empathy comes in. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like someone was talking at you, not really seeing you or understanding where you were coming from? Maybe it was a boss, a teacher, or even a friend. No matter how much knowledge they had, if they didn't truly connect with you emotionally, you probably didn't feel much respect for them. On the other hand, have you ever had someone speak to you in a way that made you feel seen? Someone who took the time to really listen, to understand your struggles, and then spoke in a way that made you feel hope or inspired to take action? Those are the moments when true respect is built. When you know someone gets it, when they connect with you emotionally. One powerful example of this is Nelson Mandela. He was a man of incredible authority. He had the power to demand respect, the power to intimidate, and the power to enforce his will. But instead of relying on his position, he used empathy to heal a nation. He didn't just speak to be heard, he spoke to be understood. Mandela understood the pain of apartheid. He had lived it. But instead of pushing that pain onto others, he acknowledged it. He spoke to people's fears and hopes, and in doing so, he inspired a nation to heal and rebuild, to move forward. This wasn't just a man speaking with authority, it was a man speaking with heart, with empathy. And that made all the difference. So, how can you connect emotionally with others in your own life? How can you speak in a way that makes people feel heard, respected, and understood? First, active listening is key. Before you even speak, listen. Take a moment to really understand what the other person is going through. And I mean really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Are they scared? Are they frustrated? Are they hopeful? Once you've really heard them, then you can speak in a way that shows you understand their needs, fears, or desires. Here's the thing. People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. That's why relatable stories are so powerful. We all face challenges, big and small, and when we hear someone share a story that mirrors our own struggles, it creates an instant connection. It says, I see you, I get it. Whether it's a personal setback or a shared dream, when you share your story, it lets people know they're not alone, and that respect, it builds itself in that moment. Now, let's get real for a second. Vulnerability, sometimes being vulnerable is the hardest thing to do, but it's also one of the most powerful ways to build respect. I'm not talking about showing weakness. I'm talking about showing your human side. Share your struggles, your mistakes, your journey. When people see that you're not perfect, but that you've overcome challenges, they respect you even more. It makes you approachable. It makes you human. We all relate to that. Think about it. How many of us have been in a tough spot, maybe feeling isolated, and then someone reaches out, not with all the answers, but with a genuine willingness to listen and empathize? It's comforting, right? It makes us feel respected. It makes us feel like we matter. And here's the truth. Respect built on empathy lasts. When you speak with empathy, when you listen and connect emotionally, people respect you for who you are, not just what you can do. This type of respect doesn't come from position or power. It comes from the heart. So how can you apply this today? When you step into a conversation, whether it's with a colleague, a friend, or even a stranger, take a moment to listen. Don't rush in with solutions. Don't push your agenda. Instead, understand where they're coming from. Share a piece of your story. Be vulnerable if it feels right. And as you speak, remember, people don't need perfection. They need connection. They need to feel heard, understood, and respected. And when you do that, you'll find that the respect you earn is deeper, more genuine, and lasting. Now, I want to leave you with this. Start today. Every conversation is an opportunity to connect on a deeper level. So be present, be empathetic, and watch how your relationships, your influence, and your respect grow. When you speak with empathy, you're not just speaking to be heard, you're speaking to connect. And that's the bridge that leads to true respect. So go ahead, take the first step today. Listen deeply, speak kindly, and let empathy guide you. The world is waiting to hear your voice. Section 4, Overcoming Fear, the Foundation of Confidence. It's totally normal to feel afraid when you have to speak in front of others. In fact, most people experience it, whether it's a presentation at work, speaking up in a meeting, or even just sharing an idea with a friend. But here's something important to remember. Fear is often the biggest barrier between you and the respect you truly deserve. It can cause your voice to shake, make your words feel unclear, and even make your presence seem weak. But what if I told you that fear doesn't have to control you? In fact, once you face and overcome that fear, you'll unlock your true potential, not only as a speaker, but as a confident, respected individual. Let's talk about someone we all know, Oprah Winfrey. Now, Oprah didn't start off as the confident, inspiring figure she is today. In fact, she struggled with self-doubt, and for a long time, she was terrified of speaking in front of others. She grew up in tough circumstances and was often told she wasn't good enough. Yet, despite all of those fears and challenges, she pushed forward, took risks, and learned how to harness her voice. Oprah wasn't born with an unstoppable confidence. What made her powerful was her willingness to face her fear and take action. She didn't let her fear stop her. She used it as fuel to drive her success. Now, you might be thinking, that's easy for Oprah to say, but I'm not Oprah. And I get it. It's hard to imagine yourself being fearless, especially when you're in the midst of doubt and anxiety. But trust me, the only difference between Oprah and you is that she decided not to let fear define her, and you can do the same. So, how do we do that? How do we overcome the fear that feels so paralyzing? Let's break it down into practical steps. Simple things you can start using right now. First, preparation. The more prepared you are, the less fear will have control over you. If you know your material inside and out, your confidence will naturally rise. Think about it like studying for a test. When you walk in knowing you've studied hard, you feel more in control. The same goes for speaking. Rehearse your speech, practice your words, and get comfortable with what you're going to say. When you know what you're talking about, fear doesn't stand a chance. Second, visualization. This one might sound a bit out there, but trust me, it works. Picture yourself standing in front of your audience, speaking confidently and commanding respect. Visualize yourself doing well and feeling good while doing it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined, so by visualizing success, you're actually wiring your brain for it. The more you see yourself succeeding, the more you start to believe it's possible, and the less fear you'll feel. Third, breathing exercises. Before you speak, take a moment to focus on your breath. Deep breaths in and out. This isn't just a relaxing trick. Deep breathing is scientifically proven to reduce anxiety and help you regain control over your emotions. When you focus on your breath, your heart rate slows down, your nerves settle, and you feel grounded. You're no longer at the mercy of your fear, you're in charge. I want you to imagine something for a second. You're about to walk into a room, maybe it's an interview, a presentation, or even a conversation that feels important to you. You feel the fear creeping up and you start to doubt yourself. But instead of letting it consume you, you take a deep breath. You remind yourself that you are prepared, you visualize yourself speaking with confidence, and suddenly the fear starts to fade away. It doesn't disappear completely, but you don't need it to. You're in control now. It's all about shifting the focus. Instead of being afraid of the fear, you acknowledge it and then you move past it. And guess what? Every time you do this, it gets easier. Look, we all face moments of fear, but don't let fear define your journey. You have a voice that deserves to be heard. You have ideas, thoughts, and perspectives that the world needs. Don't let fear hold you back from sharing them. The more you speak, the more confident you will become, and the more confident you become, the more respect you'll command from others and from yourself. So take a moment today to start practicing. Visualize yourself succeeding. Prepare, breathe, and when that moment comes to speak, stand tall and take it. You've got this. Remember, the fear isn't there to stop you. It's there to remind you that you're about to do something worth doing, and that's where real growth begins. Now go ahead, face your fear, and unlock the confident, powerful speaker that's already inside you today. Remember, the world needs your voice. Don't let fear stand in the way of your greatness. You are more than capable. The subtle art of silence, knowing when to speak and when to listen, in a world that's always on, where everyone's talking, texting, and sharing, there's something almost revolutionary about silence. We often think the key to being heard is to speak up, to be louder than everyone else, but sometimes the most powerful way to command respect, to make an impact, is to say less. It's in those quiet moments, those pauses between words, where the real power lies. Imagine this, you're in a room full of people, each one trying to out-talk the other. It's a battle for attention. But then there's someone who isn't saying much. They sit back, they listen, and when they do speak, their words hit differently. They don't rush, they don't fill the space with meaningless chatter. When they do speak, it's intentional, and everyone in the room listens. This is the quiet power of silence. It's about knowing when to speak, and more importantly, knowing when to stay quiet. Let me take you back in time to a moment in history that beautifully illustrates this point. Think about Mahatma Gandhi. This was a man who changed the course of a nation, not by shouting or trying to overpower others with his voice, but by embracing the power of silence. During times of oppression, Gandhi didn't always need to speak to make his message clear. His silence, his calm, his ability to listen, and his actions spoke volumes. He knew that sometimes silence is the loudest statement you can make. Gandhi's life teaches us that silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's a powerful tool we can all use in our daily lives. In fact, mastering the art of silence is often more effective than any words we could say. Here's how you can harness this quiet power. How many times have you rushed to fill a silence in a conversation? Maybe you felt awkward, or maybe you were afraid the conversation would stall. But what if I told you that a well-timed pause can actually make your words more powerful? Pauses create space. They give people time to reflect on what you've said, and they build anticipation for what's coming next. So, next time you're speaking, try pausing for just a moment. Let your words settle in the room. Trust me, that pause will carry more weight than 1,000 words. Have you ever noticed how people respect those who listen? Think about it. When someone listens to you, really listens, it makes you feel valued, heard, and understood. In a world full of talkers, being a great listener sets you apart. It shows confidence and empathy. When you listen, you're giving the other person space to share their thoughts, and that speaks volumes about your character. But listening isn't just about staying quiet, it's about actively engaging with the person in front of you. It's about hearing beyond the words, understanding the emotion behind them. That's where true connection happens. People will remember the way you made them feel when you took the time to listen. So, next time you're in a conversation, try to listen more than you speak. And when you do speak, make it count. Words are powerful, but sometimes actions speak louder. Think about someone in your life who's a true leader. They don't have to say much. Their actions set the tone, and their behavior is a reflection of their values. It's easy to talk a big game, but it's the person who follows through, the person who acts with integrity, who earns real respect. Your actions speak volumes, even when your mouth is closed. Whether it's how you treat others, how you show up in difficult situations, or how you lead by example, your actions can say more than words ever could. Now, let's take a step back and think about how this applies to your life right now. How often do you find yourself trying to fill every silence? Whether it's in a meeting, with friends, or even with yourself. How often do you rush to speak just to avoid discomfort or to seem knowledgeable? What if, instead of filling every space with words, you embrace the quiet moments? What if, instead of reacting immediately, you pause to think, to listen, to reflect? This isn't about shutting yourself down or becoming mute. It's about being intentional with your words, being present, and allowing the space around you to add meaning to what you say. Silence, when used correctly, amplifies your message. It commands attention in a way that words alone can't. So take a moment today to reflect on how you can embrace the power of silence. Listen more, pause more. Let your actions speak louder than your words. And when you do speak, let it be intentional, impactful, and meaningful. Remember, in a world full of noise, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to say less. If you've found value in this message, take a moment to reflect on how you can apply this in your own life. Embrace the art of silence and watch how it transforms the way people respond to you. Let your actions speak and your words become even more powerful. Now, go ahead, try it. Pause before your next response, listen deeply in your next conversation, and let the power of silence guide your path to becoming a more respected, impactful version of yourself. Hey there, if you've ever felt like your voice doesn't get the respect it deserves, like your words get lost in the noise or you're not being heard the way you want, this video is for you. Today we're diving into the key principles that will help you speak with respect and authority. These are the things that will make people listen when you speak, and more importantly, make them respect you for it. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Delivery. How you say something matters just as much as what you say. Imagine this. You're sharing your thoughts in a room full of people. If you're speaking too quickly, mumbling, or rushing through your words, no one's going to take you seriously. But when you slow down, stand tall, and speak with confidence, people will lean in, eager to hear every word. It's all about owning your presence. Think about your favorite public speaker. Maybe it's someone like Martin Luther King or Oprah. Or when they speak, they don't just talk, they command attention. And you can do the same just by changing the way you deliver your message. Next up, word choice. The words you choose have a huge impact on how people perceive you. Are you using words that inspire trust? Are you clear and concise? Or do you find yourself rambling? You don't have to use fancy, complex language to sound impressive. In fact, simple, direct language can be just as powerful. Think of a time when someone said something to you that really stuck. Chances are it wasn't a bunch of jargon. It was a clear, heartfelt message that hit you at just the right moment. Now let's talk about empathy. Speaking with respect means understanding where others are coming from. It's not just about your message. It's about how your words affect the listener. Think about a conversation you've had where the other person truly got you. They listened, they understood, and they responded in a way that made you feel heard. That's the power of empathy. When you speak with empathy, you're not just saying words, you're connecting with people on a deeper level. But here's the thing, sometimes speaking with respect isn't about saying anything at all. It's about embracing the power of silence. Think about a time when you were in a conversation and there was a pause. No one said anything, but in that silence, something powerful happened. Maybe you both took a moment to reflect, or maybe the weight of the unspoken words made the conversation even more impactful. Silence can be a powerful tool in communication. It gives people space to think, and it allows your message to settle in. Now let's face it, one of the biggest hurdles to speaking with respect is fear. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of saying the wrong thing. But here's the truth. Fear is natural. We all have it. The key is to not let it control you. When you feel fear creeping in, remind yourself that your words matter and you have something valuable to say. In fact, speaking up despite your fear is one of the most courageous things you can do. Just think about how many people out there are waiting for someone like you to speak up, to say what they've been too afraid to say themselves. Now that you've learned the key principles to speaking with respect, delivery, word choice, empathy, overcoming fear, and the power of silence, it's time to put them into practice. Remember, respect doesn't come overnight. It takes time, effort, and a lot of practice. But the more you work on these skills, the more you'll see the impact they have on the way people listen to you. Let me ask you this. What would it look like if you could speak with respect every single time you opened your mouth? Imagine walking into any room, whether it's a business meeting, a family gathering, or even a casual conversation, and knowing that when you speak, people listen, not just because you're talking, but because you've earned their respect. That's the power of speaking with intention. So I want you to remember this. Don't just speak to be heard, speak to be respected. Your voice has the power to change minds, to move hearts, and to build bridges. When you speak with respect, you're not just sharing words, you're creating connections, you're building trust, and you're making the world a little better one conversation at a time. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. Just start speaking with intention today, and you'll start seeing the respect you deserve. So go ahead, take that first step. Speak with confidence. Speak with empathy. Speak with purpose. Because when you do, the world will listen, and they'll respect you for it.